Hello everyone and welcome back to Unk Plays Games. Answering the age-old question, is Unk washed? Today we're going to be playing the Silent, and I had a really good Shiv build happen here. So at Niao, I opted to, and I always try to reduce my deck early. I transformed 2 cards and I got a Shiv card. So right away I was thinking, alright, this is probably going to be a decent Shiv build. And, you know, at this point I'm just kind of hoping that I can get a few more complementary cards to make the build really come together. I was tempted to use Up My Sleeve right there to reduce its cost and get some Shivs out, but because the monster has thorns, I opted not to. And it paid out because I drew it again the very next hand, and we got a quick W right there. And look at that. Right away, we're blessed with accuracy. Goated card for a Shiv build. Shiv's adding 4 more damage is insane. It's such a huge damage boost for such a small 1 cost power. We get a random shop, and you know me, right away opting to card remove. I always try to get my deck slimmed out early in Act 1 and pick up some very potent cards for the build I'm trying to make. Very happy with that. The Fresnel lens, I don't like it. Losing another 13 HP would be detrimental because I already sacrificed 12 for the Leafy Poultice. Oh my god, Adrenaline pickup, goated. Goated, what a great run. We got Adrenaline, we got some Shiv complementary Shiv cards, and we're off to the races here. We're gonna get some quick damage in there. Look at that, already shredding the mob. Absolutely destroying it with a quick hand of Shivs. You'll love to see it. Two turned, easy P, and we get Blade Dance. Okay, at this point I was thinking, you know what? I think we got it. Like, I think this build is actually going to be a thing. Adrenaline is an amazing rare card that lets you just, it works with every build. I don't think there's been a build I've made that didn't benefit from Adrenaline. And we've already got 2 cards that work very well together in Accuracy and Blade Dance, as well as Up My Sleeve. Now here, I choose Blade Dance, and in retrospect, I kind of wish I took Up My Sleeve, just because it would have reduced its cost in future turns. But both were good options. We got an extra strike out of that. And here we go. Yep, we're gonna get some Shivs going. I like Up My Sleeves because it starts off at 2 cost, then becomes 1, and then 0 the more you play it. So it very much scales. I'm looking at this hand, I'm like, this is kind of mid-hand considering it's not doing anything but debuffing right now. And there we go. The Up My Sleeves is 1 cost now. And I think... okay, at this point, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to kill it, and I don't want to take 24 damage. So I use the Glow Water Potion to exhaust my hand, draw a full set of cards, and then we get the 0 cost Up My Sleeves to defeat the monster and not take the 40 damage. Absolutely massive. Tracking, goated card. Because the Silent doesn't have a lot of vulnerability, that power tracking allows our weakness to serve almost like a vulnerable in its own way. So very pleased with that pickup. And I'm just looking at the mobs right now, and I'm like, if you can take out one of these mobs, it stuns the other. Unfortunately, I would have been 1 damage short, and I would have taken all that damage had I tried to go for the kill. So instead, I opted to play it safe, block most of the damage, and get the stun the subsequent turn. Heck yeah. Alright, so obviously goated hand right now. We got Adrenaline and Up My Sleeves. Oh my goodness. What a combo. What a combo. Now, I'm a sucker for Prepared. It's probably my favorite card in the Silent deck, but because we have a fully Shiv build going on where almost every card is working with Shiv right now, I didn't feel the need to draw too much, just because I don't have any Sly cards in my deck. So discarding cards and drawing cards would only serve to cycle through the deck more, which is great. But the problem with that is I'd be cycling through all these cards that benefit Shiv. So at any point, it would almost seem like a waste where it's like I could just do damage instead, you know? So I decided to just skip that kind of questionable decision there, because Prepared is honestly goated. I freaking love that card. A little bit of a waste of a Shiv right there. The monster has an ability, it's shell plating. Only allows 15 damage per turn. Kinda sucks. But because of that, I kind of spammed the Shivs and didn't realize that I was over committing for damage. I was thinking about playing tracking, but opted not to, because it's going to raise my damage, and I'm already getting close to the damage cap. It's one of those things where it's like, what's the point of buffing my damage up if I can only deal 15 damage a turn anyways, right? Like right here, I can't deal any more damage. Kinda sucks. Alright, let's see if we can secure the W right here. Yep. Yep, and we get the shovel. We've got 2 items that let us do extra activities at the campfires. Please, give us a tent. A freaking tent would be amazing. Okay, I pick up Expose over here. Very easy pickup for me. I feel as if Expose is one of those cards that just absolutely wrecks certain elites that are high counter for the Silent. So for instance, the Mecha Knight, it has like 10 artifact on it, which makes, you know, all the weakening, all the poisoning, all the debuffing, any debuffing, it just nerfs the heck out of us. So I always pick up 1 or 2 exposes if I'm lucky enough to find it along the way, just for that reason. So let's see what we could do here. We got a leading strike. We're grabbing some shivs. We're doing some good damage. You'll love to see it. It has 1 more HP than the firebomb would have allowed for defeating it. So I just said, hey, let me just save my firebomb for elite and just take it out in the next turn. Assassinate, easy pickup. One of the very rare forms of vulnerable for the Silent. So between Expose and Assassinate, now we have the opportunity to really do some damage over here. I've been told that when facing this worm elite, the last worm, the 4th one, I forget who mentioned it in one of my previous videos. They told me that essentially, if I can, focus on defeating the back one early, because it spends its first 2 turns buffing up and then becomes a real problem later on. So I took that advice this time, and I think it pays off. I take a little bit of damage over here, you know, nothing crazy, but I saved myself from taking like 9 or 10 damage per hit from that last worm. Over here, I think I do a misplay. I don't expose. I plan to expose. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, at this point, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? I think I can just kill it. And then I miscalculated. I was mad. I thought I could kill it with my attacks and just expose the front one so I'd get more damage next turn. But in the end, I screwed up. And then I double screw up over here. I use my last freaking skill, which nerfs Fletches down to 0. So absolute misplay there. Thankfully, I focused the correct mob first, which really set us up for surviving. Otherwise, I feel as if these misplays would have costed me the run had I not chosen the targets correctly. We get a lantern, massive pickup, first turn energy to go with our first turn card draw. Amazing. I considered training right there for extra strength, because extra strength goes amazingly with shivs. Because shivs are a bunch of small attacks, gaining strength on those small multi-attacks, or not multi-attacks rather, small damage cards is much more efficient than... Oh, what am I doing here? Okay, so at this point I'm considering, like, should I just expose away its armor and go for damage? And I do. I figured I got tracking going already, I got accuracy rocking already. Now's the time to get in there and do some decent damage. So we got the vulnerable rocking over here, we got the weakness, and we're going in with shivs. I was about to go full freaking unga bunga with the attacks, and I'm like, wait a minute, I should block over here. And we've achieved it. We got a handful of shivs, they're doing a ton of damage, and in subsequent turns, our up my sleeve card is gonna cost 0. So at that point, I'm pretty happy, and easy win. Easy win. Because shivs don't count as card draw, they count as card like creation. There was no point in me there was no point in picking up... Oh shoot, what do I do here? Yeah, I'm recording, I'm commenting on the video afterwards, and I was playing a little bit fast. I've noticed my previous videos have all been about an hour or so long. So I've been playing just in my free time while vibing and commenting afterwards. And I've noticed that I kind of play a lot quicker when I'm just playing without commenting. When I'm commenting, I kind of ramble on and the video becomes an hour long. So this time around, I just... Oh, what a combo. What a combo. Burst to Adrenaline is goated. Tons of energy, tons of card draw. Like, absolutely insane. Because the card exhausts, the fact that I get to play it twice, even though it's an exhaust card, I feel is a massive power boost. So we shredded down these little exoskeleton bugs in the first turn. And that combo, I freaking love it. I've been really enjoying, during this whole run, I really enjoyed doing the Burst of Speed Adrenaline combo. I just wish there was a way to make it more consistent first turn. So here, I was considering picking up the Shiv card there, but I realized, you know what, my Pale Wing that I picked up needs only one more to... Oh, and there it is again. There's the combo again. We got crazy first turn card draw. Absolutely goated first turn card draw and energy with the Burst of Speed comboed with Adrenaline. Like, what a... wow. Look at this damage. Holy smokes. It just got to summon its little ads there, and it's already down to 11 HP. That's nuts. We got a really good thing going here. I opt into not taking bullet time only because it would nerf Adrenaline. If I took bullet time, I would have to either specifically use it after all the Adrenalines, or actually, you know what, I'm not 100% sure if I can create shivs after using bullet time. That would have been a good test, but I opted not to take it just because the Blade Dance card is so on point for the build I got going. And look at that. We take out the Rock Bug first turn, so that way we didn't have to worry about any of the shenanigans that it has of trying to stun it with block. We just went in. So, very, very nice. I'm like trying to look right now and see, like, can I take out this front bug or should I block it? And I opt to do damage, and it turns out to be the wrong play. So, in retrospect, I should have burst of speed to defend, to block all the damage out, but not too bothered by it. As you can see, I'm considering what I should do here, and I decide, you know what, since I have Expose in my hand at this point, I might as well just go in and remove its shield and put some damage. And look at that damage. Oh my goodness, almost 50 damage to the bug right away. Woke up the sleepy beetle. At this point, I'm trying to reduce my hand size so I don't overdraw. and I do a decent job of it, and look at that. We get rewarded with a leading strikes plus. Heck yeah. At this point, I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? I beat the last 2 or 3 fights, hardly losing any HP. So I started training. Getting that strength up is huge. We get the rare mystery merchant, which honestly, he's kind of meh. His products are like iffy, but I figured, you know what, getting the extra HP heal and the small bit of block is worth it. So I paid for those. I love removing 2 cards, but I just couldn't bring myself to put normality into my deck. I hate that curse. It's probably my #1 hated curse. So instead, I opted to put perfect fit on up my sleeve. That guarantees that I draw it first after every shuffle, which means I have a steady way of reducing its cost. Very, very nice. This elite is honestly kind of depressing to fight when you have no AoE, which I have none of. So what I decided to do instead was I decided to burst down the one that was about to debuff me, so that way I would take less damage in subsequent turns and just hopefully get enough of a damage combo to kill it even after the first one resurrects. Alright, so we've managed to get the middle one down now, but the first one is back. And at this point, I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to get into this like cycle of taking out one of them only for the other one to come back and do damage. So I was a little bit worried, but as you'll see in the next turn, we managed to... Oh, my HP is getting kind of low. Yeah, see, take out one and the other one resurrects. But we managed to get the burst to adrenaline. So that combo right there saved us. Actually saved us. As you can see here, I'm trying to reduce my hand so I don't overdraw on shivs. I need to make sure that I get just the right amount. There you go. Yep. And now I can do up my sleeve since I have enough hand space. There we go. We managed to squeak by. I sacrificed the cards because they're not plussed up. And this Hunter Killer is honestly one of my most hated normal mobs. I feel as if it's the closest to an elite that you can be without being an elite, you know? So we just go in there, we do huge damage with an assassinate combo, and we first turn take it out. And we find Knife Trap. Oh my goodness. Play every shiv in your exhaust pile is insane. And from this point, I'm like, okay, we got a build here. We actually have a decent build with burst to adrenaline to a bunch of shivs to ending the combo off with Knife Trap. As you can see, we have amazing first turn damage potential, and it's just working out. Like, look at this. We're gonna get a bunch of shivs. We second turn kill the projection bug right there, and we're sacrificing cards if they're not massively beneficial for us, or if they're not plussed up. If they are plussed up and they're one of the ones for our build, we take them, but otherwise we're sacrificing them to Pale's Wing in the hopes of getting some goated artifacts. So to start things off, I was really hoping to draw burst or adrenaline. I get burst, but I don't have really much to use it with. I decide, like here I was like, if I use it, I can't use up my sleeve, which I would have loved to do a double up my sleeve first turn, but it is what it is. I ran out of energy. I got a little bit too happy with the powers. Not a huge deal. And we're just going in now. Look at this. Just spamming our whole hand. We got tons of energy. There's adrenaline finally, thank goodness. Alright, let's see what we could do here. So we got a ton of damage coming out from these shivs. 15 damage a pop. And we got leading strike. We got, oh my goodness. We have enough energy for almost everything. I think I opt for a frantic escape here. Nope. That was a weird, oh, I already had a lot of, I still have 4 more turns of running away. And there's knife trap. No, don't do it. Okay. Okay. Wait. Oh my goodness. You know what? I should have used up my sleeve first. So that way I would have gotten more. But it is what it is. The new Blade of Ink looks really cool. Which would have worked with the Shiv build. But I realized I was taking a lot of damage. So I figured After Image would be perfect to cover the lack of defense we have. And I get the Sigh here just to complement that. So now I get 7 block every turn. Plus, I have the parrying shield for damage. I got the stuffed anchor. You know, I've got a lot of built-in blocks, so that way I can focus my energy explicitly on getting damage out there. I don't like this play I did. Bursting into the Blade Storm was meh. I would have rather bursted into Up My Sleeve to reduce its cost. But you know what? We first turned the mob, so I'm not upset at all with that. Even with the slight misplay, not a big deal. Another accuracy. Oh my goodness. I'm considering the anchor. I end up going with the anchor because now we have 10 plus the stuffed anchor. I think that's another 3. Plus the Sigh, which is another 7. So I think we're going to start with like 19 or 20. There it is, 21 block first turn. Actually crazy. And we have Orichalcum as well. So if in subsequent turns we can't get any block, we'll at least have 6 block. Not bad at all. And here I have a ton of blocks, so I'm just throwing my whole hand at it and just getting a bunch of shivs in the discard pile. Not too upset. Yep, the parry shield finished off the Scroll of Biting there, and now we got our accuracy rocking. Not going to do much for us this turn, but next turn, it's going to help out a lot. I mean, the mob is pretty much cooked right now, so we're good. Adrenaline. Oh, I don't know why I didn't burst. Oh, I drew it from there. Okay, that's why. I was like, why didn't I burst and then use Adrenaline? I was thinking about picking up another leading strike there, but I said to myself, you know, I think I have 3 or 4 of them in my deck already. Not worth it. Yup. Don't know why I exposed it again, because I think it's dead this turn. That was a bit of a misplay. Yeah, there was no point in exposing it there. I should have saved the exposed for this mob. So let's see what we could do here. Do I After Image? I do. I After Image, and then this time I do it correctly. I think... No, don't do that. Use leading strikes first. Oh my goodness. Okay, it died no matter what. Alright, you know what? We're alright. And at this point, I'm not taking any more leading strikes. I'm not trying to fill up my deck with only leading strikes. And I'm going elite hunting. Oof. Oh my goodness. This is unfortunate. I don't draw the combo. I don't draw my burst into Adrenaline combo. And I really needed it for this fight. Like... Yep, stacking on the vulnerable onto the Phantom Knight. I always go after the Phantom Knight first because his passive, his debuff that he puts on you makes it that all your cards become ethereal and exhaust if you don't use them. So I always target him first. The second mob I usually target depends on how quickly I defeat the first one. So in this situation, I decided to go after the Flail Knight. And let's see if that ends up being a... Oh my goodness, knife trap at 9 shivs already. That's crazy. Yup. Wonderful. That's a ton of damage. Look at that. Now I'm like contemplating like, should I use after image? And I haven't used it much yet, so I said to myself, yeah, let's just do that. We generate enough block. Oh, the mob's dead anyways. Okay, didn't even matter. Ooh, blade dance and burst? Nasty. I skipped out on shadow step right there because, oh, prayer wheel. Prayer wheel is amazing. Extra card rewards while you have Pale's Wing is a great combo because now I get 2 cards to choose from and I can sacrifice both of them if I don't like them. And that just, it's goated. It's actually crazy. So here I'm using, I use Adrenaline hoping to get exposed, and we do. Which is crazy because that just makes life so much easier for this mob. This is the reason why I took expose earlier on. Explicitly for elites like this that have a high amount of artifact, which lets me really get in there and start doing some great damage turn 1. So at this point I realize, oh, I can pretty much use my entire hand. So I use almost everything save for the strike, block all the damage, and now that he has no artifact, if I draw my weakness, it's gonna take a ton of damage. Yep, look at that. And we still haven't drawn our source of weakness yet, unfortunate. But thankfully, we're only gonna take 12 damage from the burns. Oh, it's dead. Never mind. We're taking no damage from the burns. That's amazing. You know, looking back at it, looking back at the card rewards, Strangle could have been a good combo, but I love artifacts, so it's not hard to convince me to skip out on mediocre cards. Oh my, another accuracy. Holy moly, oh my goodness. We got we got I think 3 accuracies in the build right now. So kind of nutty. The synergy is very, very strong. Starting here on the first turn with 21 block against the 29, I opt for after image. So that way I could just kind of go all in with damage. And I made a bit of a mistake there. I should have used Assassinate first to make more room for the shivs, because a couple of the shivs went into the discard pile. Unfortunate. It is what it is though. We're doing great damage. This mob is getting absolutely wrecked. So we got our neutralize and we got tracking. And I'm just thinking like there's no real point in using tracking. It costs too much at this point. I might as well just use up my sleeve for more attacks and after images, and we block all 13 damage perfectly. So this fight's going extremely well. We get our expose. We're gonna get in with more shivs. Shivs doing 16 damage a piece now. Kinda crazy. And of course, you know I'm gonna discard that potion for the shiv potion. It just works so much better for us. And because we're fully trained with the Jiraiya, we opted for digging up another relic. So in like it's been like 26 minutes, we managed to make it all the way to the boss. At this point, I'm telling myself, okay, don't use anything important on the first one, and in the second phase right here where everything exhausts, I was telling myself, use all your powers. Like, just use all my powers. I exhaust a strike. I use it just to get it out of my deck so that way I can thin it out to get more shivs. And now we're going in. I was worried here that using Blade Dance would not give me shivs because you can't draw more cards with this boss's form, sorry. Instead, I tested it, and because you create cards, creating cards works. Drawing additional cards doesn't. So we just go in. Look at this crazy damage. Oh my gosh, he's already cooked and we barely started. And I think at this point, I'm like, yeah, just go in. Who cares about losing energy and stuff? Just take him. Oh my goodness. GG. Shiv build. Classic Shiv build. You'll love to see it. That's how it's done. Yo, like, comment, subscribe. Tune in for the next video. I'll see y'all later. Take care.